Hi, this is Rebecca Becker. I'm with Raising the Vibe, which is a new nonprofit organization supporting the growth of conscious communities. And we're just now starting to bring some of our partners in to kind of talk about what they're doing in terms of holistic healing. And with me today is Laura Cardwell. I've known Laura for a couple years now when she was with Shift Brain Integration. I'm in Atlanta and she's in Asheville, so it's the beauty of having these Zoom conversations now that we can connect with whoever we want around the world. Oh, there's my cat in the background. Anyway, I wanted to just bring her on because she's got a great program coming on this Saturday. So I want to introduce Laura, what she does, and really get down into soul immersion and why it would be a great idea for you to sign up for that. So, Laura, you're now with Quantum Integrative Wellness, and that's kind of a mouthful. So, how did you get to be somebody who owns Quantum Integrative Wellness when most people have no idea what that is?
I don't even know what that is. No, I'm kidding. It's been a long journey, and to keep it short, I've followed a path throughout my life of trying different things. I have a degree in creative writing, the minor in photography. I was a jeweler for 8 years. And then the long story short, my daughter was diagnosed with dyslexia when she was in 2nd grade. And that led us to a modality that was an energy modality to help with learning differences called brain integration. And I followed that path for years and brought some people into that field and love it, but always was kind of questing for more information. I think that that's one of my things in life is just more information. And so, so I went on to, I'm in the process of getting my master's and my doctorate through Quantum University, and that's in quantum wellness and quantum medicine. So in doing that, that introduced a lot of new modalities to me, everything from, well, I was already working with kind of Chinese medicine and chakra work, but it introduced more homeopathics and auriculotherapy and biofeedback. And the idea of that program was really to create wellness practitioners that know the whole spectrum of energy medicine and can apply what is necessary in the moment. And so that's how I ended up on the Quantum Integrative Wellness. So it's a blend of all of the different kinds of things that I know.
Wow, pretty impressive. So the other day you were explaining to me all the different levels of energy bodies and consciousness. So I thought that might be fun for everybody to get your viewpoint on that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things, and I think probably one day my followers will know me to be famous for like holding out my hand like this and being like, let's do the 5 bodies of consciousness. So the 5 pillars of consciousness is what it's called. It was developed by Paul Druin, who is the doctor that founded Quantum University. And this is the model that he teaches all quantum medicine from. And it really fits, I think, from a quantum physics perspective and just from a healing perspective in general. So we'll go through them together. So we have in our energy bodies, in our physical bodies, where they come together, there's 5 pillars of consciousness. And so if we start at the top, can you see my hand? Try to make sure you can see my hand.
Yeah.
So if we start at the top, which is my thumb here, then that's what we call the bliss body in quantum physics. That's the universal energy, universal source, the all one energy. What we know in quantum physics now is that the whole, everything that we can imagine of the universe as it is, all is one great energy, and we're all energies inside of that. So we call that the bliss body in quantum physics. And then if you come down from there, then we come from there and we start to become physical. So we come, the supramental body is where we're coming into this world as a physical human, and this is where our astrology charts live, this is where our Enneagram lives, it's all of our personality traits, it's social beliefs, it's family beliefs, it's genetics. So it's kind of the picture of who you're going to be as you come into this world is the supramental body. The supramental body leads to the mental body, so that's the next level down. And the mental body is our thoughts and perceptions. It's how we perceive the world, it's how we think about the world. It's driven by our supramental body, all of those personality traits and things like that. So it's the mind, it's how the mind functions. And then the mind, when it thinks, it emotes, it moves emotion, it creates chemistry, but it also moves energy, and it moves energy in the next level down, which we call the vital body. This is where the meridians live from Chinese medicine. It's where the chakras live in Ayurvedic medicine. There's a place for both of those, actually. They are both true. They have differences, but they also have a lot of similarities. And so when we think, we emote and we move energy in that vital body. And then as we do that, it becomes physical. And so this bottom level is the physical body. And that is where we experience feeling. So we finally have our first physical experience down here. And when we are looking at healing in general, we often are trying to work somewhere down in here. And we cycle around down in the physical body or in the vital body if we're expanding even a little bit into complementary medicines. But what we really want to do to have full access and full healing is we have to get up into these higher bodies, into how our personality trait and how our astrology affects how we think. And when we get up into these higher bodies, we have what's called downward causation. So if you like a spontaneous healing, for example, is often something that happens in the bliss body. It's the connection to source, and then that trickles down through the rest, and it changes everything. But they had this, what we call the quantum leap, or the aha moment, where they were down here, and then they had a shift in perception. They jumped all the way to the top, and it trickles back down. That's downward causation. But there is not upward causation. You can't change something in the physical, and it will trickle up unless you have that quantum leap, that aha moment. And that's what healing is it helps people to have that aha moment so they can shift something up here, and then it can trickle back down. So that's the quick version.
Wow, love that. I wish more people had an understanding of that, because Western medicine is often just dealing with the physical body, and that's why holistic approaches are really coming into more vogue when people are realizing it, that they may be healed by Western medicine, but somehow their cancer comes back. And why is that? Because the thought processes haven't changed. So you're just recreating the same thing to cause dis-ease in the body.
Right, and you have to remember that the brainstem in the limbic brain, that's 95% of your thinking during the day, and it's totally unconscious. So we have to these modalities help us get into that unconscious so that we can really shift it for good.
Right. So the limbic brain is really the fear, flight, freeze part of the body. And it's the patterning that happened, in your DNA, the patterning happened in your environment when you were growing up. And that's why it's so important, I believe, to just really have the observing self happen before you have a reaction to things. So you can be the observer of the actions and know that that action is not you, that it was just a pattern that was clicking. And that's probably key to some awakening and healing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Understanding that your being is an energetic being having a physical experience. You are not the physical experience. You are the energy. Yeah. The body is having the physical experience. And when you separate those two, there's a ton of healing space inside of that.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I know you're doing this unbelievable program, and it was going to be in person in Atlanta at the Center for Love and Light. And because of what we're going through right now, obviously people are getting really creative, and you're doing an online version of this. So would love to have you tell us more about what you're doing. And it's this Saturday, the 11th, from 6:30 to 8:30 online, and we'll get to that information later. But it's called Soul Immersion. Can you tell us what that's going to be like and all the details?
Sure. I'm really excited about this. We're adjusting to the fact that it's not going to be live. So it may not be perfect in the sense of we're, just in my office and with, basic recording equipment. But the point is to bring it to the world and to make it available. So I think everybody will forgive us if it's not professionally perfect. But more importantly is what we're going to be doing. So this is what I'm right now really, really excited about, if you can't tell, is kind of doing this group healing work, bringing groups together and using the power of a group when they come together and focus together to really amplify healing. And so the structure is that the first half it's all based in Chinese medicine. So the first half is very yang, and that is kind of a workshop where we'll go deeper into those 5 bodies of consciousness. We'll talk about some neuroscience. We'll talk about some quantum physics. We'll get an understanding. So this is what I call the demystifying. healing. We'll understand it so that we understand what we're doing. The second half is more of a yin. So that's more of an inward. So then we will go into a healing experience. And that is what I call remystifying. So we'll have demystified it so we understand what we're doing, and then we get to remystify it and have that healing experience. And so, and while we're doing that, the second half will be set to live music. It has a loose structure of moving through the 5 elements. In traditional Chinese medicine, a lot of healing is based on the movement of energy through the different channels, and they move in a really specific pattern, and those patterns have very specific emotions and neural pathways that go with it. And so we'll be moving through the entire 5 elements, and as we do that, we will build in chakras that might be involved, we will build in neural pathways that might be involved, and we'll pull in all sorts of frequencies to use to help heal that. And then we'll move on to the next element. And as we'll do that as a group, we'll all focus that together as a group, set to live music. My husband will be playing live music that he's written to match the flow. So there's very specific sounds that go with very specific elements or chakras. And so he's written that music to match the flow of the healing. So we're pretty, and then after that, I'm trying to just also like create the structure and then be open to what the group needs, and just help to be there in the moment and healing whoever needs to heal what in the moment. So.
Oh, that sounds great. When you talk about the elements, what are you talking about? Can you go into a little detail of that?
Sure. So the Chinese 5 elements are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And it's the basic structure in which the energy flows through the body. It flows through the meridian channels, remember, in the vital body. And so the energy comes in from some of the higher vessels. They're called extraordinary vessels or marvelous vessels. And the energy comes in and it starts to flow in a specific pattern around. And so fire is the awakening, it's the spark, the ignition, and then it moves into earth, which is about desire and self-confidence, and then it moves into metal, which is about letting go. And then it moves into water, which is about stillness and our ability to kind of face our fears and face the dark of things and be refreshed in that. And then that from that stillness, we spring forward into wood, which is new growth. And then that sparks new movement. And so it's obviously much deeper than that and much more involved, but that's kind of the general flow of energy in the 5 elements.
I actually haven't heard it explained like that. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's great. So what people need to do is I guess put it on the link, but they're going to just need to sign up online. And it's only $10, which is an unbelievable bargain. I know you're doing that to really help people during this tough time, and just something super affordable to give it a try, because a lot of people are just like, I don't understand this, but for $10, let's go, right? So
we figured $10 was a gift in this crazy, like you said, but also it is different for people. They haven't experienced things like this. And so I know if it were me, I'd want to try it first for not a major investment. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And to register for that, you go to the website is withloveandlight.org. That's the Center for Love and Light in Atlanta's website. And then you just go to the events, and the event is on the 11th. You click on it and you can register right there. Or you can go to my website, which is lauracardwell.com or quantumintegrativewellness.com. I've got the lauracardwell.com because it's easier for people to type in. They can make a lot of mistakes in the quantum integrative wellness process.
Right.
So lauracardwell.com is just easier. And then it's on the live healing page. You can register right there.
Perfect. And I'll also just put the links and some of the written communication when we have this produced for people. But great. Anything else before we close? Or
no, just thank you so much for what Raising the Vibe is doing, bringing this collaborative understanding. I believe that the future of wellness and medicine in general is in collaboration. It's in people like you bringing people together as a resource. And so thank you for doing this.
great. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah.